right, video 2 of April 29th, 2020. I'm experimenting with this light, really. I don't know if that's any better. I just had it on the more yellow setting. Now it's kind of more blue. But it seemed clearer when I had just this lamp here just pointing right at me, so I might even just bring that ring light closer to me. And like I said, I still need the microphone and the backdrop. But I think I'm going to be getting off YouTube here because I've already had 2 videos censored and it's not worth putting the effort in. The only upside to this is that I can get a large audience if I get a strike or something, or I'm risk of being completely shut down. I have the audience. It didn't cost me any money like a radio station would. Once I have the audience, I can set up a radio station or some other thing and get you all to go there. Versus if I just started the radio station right now, there is a cost for running any internet radio station, which is, if you avoid that, it's better. So I'm kind of just using this for now to build up an audience, and I think that's the best way to go for me. So build up the audience and then transfer over to that. Just get at least some audience, at least a couple hundred people. So that's what I'm working towards. So share the links, share the videos. The quality will get better. We do have an Instagram, Resistance of Tyranny. It's the same profile picture. It's the fireball. So you should see that there. So go follow that. It's got about 400 followers. Yet none of them watch the videos, so that's a problem. So help me in getting these videos out. I know I'm not a big wig, but I'm trying to get to that point. The more people who do their own stuff, the stronger we are. And the more people who prepare physically and get the word out more, it's every point to do that, because plenty of people are being censored. We need more people to keep fighting and getting prepared in case it gets physical, which at this point it probably will. But we need media, truthful media, and I know I'm biased in some things, but I'm really telling you guys what's really happening. You can go watch the weather report on ABC, and you can hear what's really happening from me, or InfoWars, or Rush Limbaugh, or Front Row Brian, or the Trends Journal. So, because all those people are just great. Or Owen Schroyer, or Greg Reese. All those people have InfoWars. So, anyway, without that, I'm going to put up a video at the end of this, like I always do, of police taking down a protester in a Colorado protest who is concealed carrying 2 pistols. Not illegal yet, but they are trying to pass plenty of laws as of now. I conceal carry, but I don't have a license, and I'm underage. I'm only 17. So, not the smartest thing to do, but, it's a constitutional carry, so as long as I don't get pulled over and they have some suspicion to search the car, I'm fine. I am stupid when I drive, so there's a chance I get pulled over. But they don't need to search the car. And it's hidden anyway, so. But, I suggest constitutional carries. At least in your vehicle, maybe not on your person. Open carries, I advocate for those a lot, because it really it's showing that you're an American, you can do this. But people get really offended by that, so do it more. First off, this kind of gives me hope. 2 things. We have to recognize the individuality of workers in the New World Order. What I mean by the military, the police, even people serving even more corrupt establishments like the banks, or any weapons manufacturing company, or any oil company who they're keeping going along with all this, because they benefit from the war. It all ties into, you get money for it, and that's how they kind of bind the lower levels to the secrecy, like paying up these big hospitals now because they get $40,000 if they market COVID. And not even that the people in charge are bad people, they're just corrupt, but a lot of the hospitals have been infiltrated and bought out. We'll give you this amount of money if you let us put in this guy who we've trained, who is with us, not all the way at the top, but one of their agents, put them as head command, and they do that through various agencies and various levels, corporations and military commanders who've done that, and then you have to follow this radical, tyrannical generals' generals' commands, and it's just a mess. So we have to have strong leaders in everything, and you have to be able to make sure as an individual who has more power than the leader, the individuals as a whole, if your leader is tyrannical, you need to kick him out. But the problem is there's people within your group too, of people who are possibly infiltrators too, and support what that leader is doing. So it's just a mess. So you have to really just band together with people who you know are true, who agree with you, and that's the most important thing, is similar-minded people. Because corruption goes all the way down the line, but if you have morals, you won't fall for that. But this is what I'm saying. You just have to recognize the individuality, how they send in these groups, they create these groups run by radical leaders of radical people to do these things. It makes a bad image for police or military as a whole. You can't use that as judgment. You have to go after those individual people and punish them. There goes a trend. So what I'm saying is, yes, the government, military, police, and every part of the scale, we know there are patriots inside all of them. They are being targeted and identified right now and thrown out on purpose. But we can't just attack the police, the government as a whole. The objective of that power level is to benefit the New World Order, so we need to be clear on that too, that the police, not all of the individuals that make it up, but the agenda of the police as a whole is a good thing from the beginning to stop crime. But now it's being used, just like the military was used to protect us. It's made up of citizens who signed to protect us, but now it's being used as a way to control by the globalists. So the agenda at first is pure-hearted. Now that it's being used by the globalists, it's bad as a whole. But you have to recognize the good and bad people within it, even though they're serving a system which was designed to be good, but is now being used negatively. So you have to recognize that individuality. So instead of attacking the power system, we need to focus our energy at the top of the pyramid, controlling it, and identify the bad ones in each level of power, if you understand, and empower the good ones and patriots within. So empower the good ones and the patriots within, get them to be leaders, kick out the Democrat, globalist workers who are running the show. Who's your boss? Because a lot of times they are bought out and put in there. So I'm just saying they're people too, and they have morals. And there's good ones, and there's patriots, and there's bad ones. So you see what I'm saying? Some of them are power hungry and evil and serve the system well, while others fight it. But you see, they make it very hard to tell. Only the most evil, power hungry, psychotic police are sent to arrest protesters at protests. Okay, understanding that is key. This is just a shield the globalists use. You can't attack the entire force. That's their protection that they use. You should attack the force's operation as a whole unknowingly, and attack the individuals who are just messed up within it and who are serving the system. That's key. So, attack the operation as a whole, meaning the New World Order in general, and the operations on each level, what they're being used as. Attack that. Military, government, etc. Attack the bad people within it, being power hungry and bad people, or straight up globalist run individuals who have been let in or sent in through buyouts. And finally, empower the patriots within each level. If you have a normal uncle who's a police officer or in the military who supports our freedom, support them and show that you really appreciate them. It is so important to not group people up. This goes with everything. Not all blacks are bad. Like the race war they tried to trigger, humanity rejected that because they had a conscience and had to recognize the individuality in everybody and not the group as a whole. It's very bad to group people up as a whole because that's just not how humanity works. We're not all the same consciousness, yet they're working towards that. You see what I'm saying? I'm sorry, I kind of went off on that. I really had to drive that one home too. So I'm just gonna put up that video now. I kind of went off what I was trying to get into, but here in the video, these are some people who are gonna come. Okay, one of the people in the video, I believe, who is recording, you'll hear him say, "These are the people who are gonna come give you vaccines one day, and why don't you go arrest the criminal scum taking everyone's rights?" Very good point. One of the protesters yelled at the cops. And there was one guy screaming in the background, "Tyrant, tyrant, tyrant." And this literally gave me chills down my spine, because I was hearing all these voices and just how powerful people are and how enraged they are. And it's a very powerful thing. And just like the video of, and even though it was a bad thing and they were spreading the virus, the mob of people in India, I have a video on that too, swarming because they were mistreating this coronavirus patient, just swarming us. It's like the power of humanity is just immense and just massive. And if we can all just, again, keep our individuality, but group up in a way, you'll never get everybody to think the same, but if you can really, the globalists use these ideas of humans and how we function because they know the answers to that. This devil is giving them all this information on humans and free will beings, which is like he's taken over every other level. The extraterrestrial civilizations out in space have not let him in. For some reason, there must just be better beings than us. Not saying humanity is bad. We're really great. We're just different. But we are the target. We're seen as weak and to be destroyed. But we're not. And we just have a different way. But there are bad people within us. And we have not united to not let that happen. Not let the devil in. So people go off, and because we're a warring society, we pick on people, and that causes them to want power over others, and it causes this whole system of humans are a warlike species. So that's probably one of the main causes of it. Where was I even going with this? But just the power of humanity is just massive, and they use this as a way to bring in wars and unite people around a common threat, which they've used for many things to turn a group against us as a whole. Even though the people, because the globalists at the top of the scale, they have all the wealth. They run the big banks, they run the big corporations, and so they work their way to the top, and then all the other corporations and banks, that they just bought them out. They just took them over and just into the giant mega system. And so they have all this money and all this power because money is power. And they are able to, with that, any country in the world will give you this amount of money if you go attack America or some other country. So that's what happened with 9/11. You buy out Osama bin Laden and this group of terrorists to go blow up the World Trade Centers. The globalists order their operatives in the military and the people on the jet aircraft who are run by them, who maybe don't understand what's going on completely, but they probably do. They're told to stand down, tell their soldiers to stand down, who are good people, for the most part. But the people in charge are bad. They order them to stand down and let it happen. So it's just a system of boom, boom, boom. And then it happens. Or they pay Japan, go attack America. And then the officers who are operatives on the naval ships are ordered to stand down and let it happen. They intercepted the radio communications and let it happen. So, I mean, you see what's happening. It's not, they just didn't, it wasn't a real attack to begin with. I can't even remember where the last real attack happened, where it was a country without any corruption who had the big bankers pay them to do something. I don't know when the last time that even happened. Probably back in the Viking days when a real attack actually happened. Because countries realize now, we don't want war because it's so bad and we have such big weapons and it's not good for anybody. But they only do it when they get a big chunk of money. So, because we're almost grown out of war. But if we do it for money and resources, it'll happen. So that's the donut they hold and drag you along to do that. So, and same with any other war. They paid and they created the Nazis. They have that happen. And then the companies, the weapon manufacturers, they go along with it, hardly knowing what's happening. If they're not completely controlled by the globalists, because they've started a lot of their own weapons manufacturers as well. So they just get all this wealth from these different sources, but the ones that, the majority of them are globalist run. But the workers inside, they and the heads of it go along with it. Same thing happened with the hospitals. They don't own the hospital, but they get all this money from marketing it as COVID. So they just they're not in charge of the whole thing, but they let it happen. All right, so we're going to have this attack happen. We'll go along with it. We're going to get all this money from making all these weapons. And so that's kind of the nature of the beast and how it all works. And I completely went off of what I wanted to even show you guys. But I will put that video up now. That was really important. I kind of started ranting, but that's what I like. I want to get off this script. Like I said, the main things I wanted to go over, and now I'm just kind of freeballing it and just going with what I'm thinking, what's coming to my mind, what's given to me from God. So I put up that video now, and then I have 2 more videos to do. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Watch this video.
What's right? Instead of a citizen out here with a gun. You guys are fucking pathetic. That's exactly my point. Fuck you guys. Attacking an election has a right to carry. He has a right to carry. These are the people who are going to give you vaccines one day. Hey, Officer Cody, are you going to come give us our mandatory vaccine when they make it a law? He's got a fucking permit. Ask him like a human being. He's not your slave. You're all going to be held accountable for this. You're all going to be sorry. Don't you all my You're all going to be sorry. You're taking rights. And people's ability to defend themselves from tyranny. You don't see that out here taking rights. Police is trying to Wait a second, you all got guns, don't you? Why do you all need guns? Why do you need guns? To protect yourself from the enemy? From the public? Yeah, we can have guns, but you all can have guns. Go fucking kick. Yeah, you have rights that we don't have, right, scum? Get out of here, scum!